Today I'm going to show you how to make this Taco Bell style breakfast crunch wrap. Let's throw it down. We're going to start with a little bit of maple sausage. And while that's cooking on one side of the griddle, I'm going to go ahead and throw down some oil to fry up some of these hash brown patties. We want that oil down so they get kind of that fried, crispy texture for our crunch wrap. You can find these hash brown patties in the freezer aisle of your grocery store. There's a few different brands out there. They're really nice for these kinds of things if you like those McDonald's hash browns and things like that, and they're real easy to cook on the griddle since they're nice and flat. Don't forget to season your hash browns nicely with some salt and pepper. Get that sausage chopped up real small and make sure it's browned all the way through. Once those are done on both sides and we've had a chance to fry them up on both sides, we're going to go ahead and pull off our hash brown patties, and we'll go ahead and pull off our sausage as well and put it in a bowl to reserve for later. You'll also want to go ahead and clean off your griddle from that sausage. So I just squirt a little bit of water on here and scrape it off. Then I'm actually going to turn my griddle all the way off, and while that's cooling down, I'm going to go ahead and get my eggs nice and scrambled. I'm using about 2 eggs per crunch wrap here. You can use a little more or a little less depending on how much egg you like. It's important that we have the griddle nice and cooled off. You don't want it completely cold, but we don't want it hot either because it'll overcook our eggs. That's really the key to cooking eggs on the Blackstone Griddle. Throw down a little bit of butter just to keep them from sticking, and pour those right on top of that griddle. Remember, the heat is still off here, and you'll notice these eggs are still cooking just fine. We turn the heat off and let that cool off for about 5 minutes before I put these eggs on here. So I'm just going to keep these eggs moving because I want them to be kind of fluffy and nice and cooked through, but I don't want them burned on any one side. I don't like brown spots on my eggs if I can at all help it. So we just keep those moving on the griddle. Once you think they're about where you want them to be, I'm just going to shove those off to one side of the griddle, all the way off to the extreme side, just because that's the cooler side of the griddle and they won't continue to cook quite as much over there. Remember, the heat is off, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of heat being applied to the eggs over there onto one side. Next, I'm going to use these extra large flour tortillas that you can get from Walmart. And I'm going to start assembling my crunch wraps right here on the griddle. I'm going to throw them down, still with the heat off, but it's still warm enough to kind of warm up those shells. I'll start with the hash brown patty. I'll add a bit of sausage on top of that hash brown patty. Then I'm going to use some of this Taco Bell chipotle sauce that I found in the grocery store. Figured this would be perfect for a Taco Bell crunch wrap. I'm going to put a generous amount of that right on top of the sausage. Then we're going to add our eggs. So I'm going to take about half those eggs, pile them right on top there. And then I'm going to use a small handful of some Mexican shredded cheese right on top. That's going to help hold everything together and add that nice cheesy texture to our crunch wrap. Next, I'm going to go ahead and try to fold these up right here on the griddle. You're going to want to be careful because even though that griddle's been off for a few minutes, it's still plenty hot. And so these tortilla shells will be hot and they're kind of hard to handle. So if you need to move them off the griddle to do this, you can. I just did it right here on the griddle. Flip them right over, let them start to toast on the underside here. For a crunch wrap, you want the folded part to toast first because that's going to help hold everything together. So once I get both of these folded up, I'm going to turn my heat back on, but I'm just going to set it to about medium heat just to let these get toasted, because with the heat being off for so long, they're not going to quite toast all the way through. We also want that cheese to melt really good, so you can see you got that nice light toast on the underside, and then once you flip them and you get that toast on the other side as well, they're ready to come off. So I'm going to go ahead and cut one of these in half so we can see the inside of it. Guys, I could tell you that this was one of the best breakfast things that I've ever made. It was so good. The sweetness from that maple sausage cut right through with that chipotle sauce. It's just a little bit of sweet, a little bit of spicy. And the eggs were just kind of light and fluffy inside there, and that nice cheesy Mexican cheese inside there. These were delicious. I highly recommend you try them. Let me know if you do in the comments. Until next time, thanks for watching.